last words is if you do use this video for whatever reasons and somebody's watching it and they're questioning, should I really do this? Like they owe it to themselves. You owe it to yourself. Just do it. It's 4 months goes by really fast. So just do it. I couldn't have done it by myself. I tried real hard, but no. And it helps. The best part of your program is whether it's on the Facebook group or in the app where people talk about what they're going through or their small victories. And you're like, holy shit, that happens to other people too. I can't believe it. Like just normal. I hate the word normal, but normalizing our experience. We're not the only.
When I started the program, it was like a hard decision for me because it's a financial investment and it's a time investment, and I felt like I had no more to give. However, I couldn't afford not to.
Yeah, definitely. I was also thinking about this the other day when I was driving home. It's something obviously that I've been struggling with for years and years and years, and there's all the tools on every type of social media and websites and stuff, but if you're truly struggling and you're at a point where I need help, get it, because there's only so much you can do on your own. There's only so much I could have done on my own. And I was at a point where nothing's obviously working. I keep going into this cycle.
What would you say to somebody in a similar position that's thinking about enrolling in Nourished and Free?
For one thing, enroll.
Truly, I would say Nourished and Free it's one of those programs where I think at first I would assume it's if you've done diets your whole life, right? Then go into this because you'll learn how to view food without all the rules of diet. And like I said before, even before this last program, I'd never really done a diet before this, but I also know that I grew up in a culture with diet culture, with body image rules. And so just that alone, Nourished and Free has taught me so much more about what we're taught or told is appropriate eating or body image or just anything that fits with that, whether it's even exercise too, because you had a component with that as well.
Yeah, so something that you said in our initial consultation that really stuck with me and it was a light bulb moment. You said very innocently, okay, well, what's worked for you and what hasn't worked for you in the past? So what do you want to focus on? And I said, oh, well, Atkins has worked for me in the past. And you go, oh, well, tell me more about that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've lost a ton of weight on that. And then I go, well, I mean, I guess I gained it all back, but I lost a ton of weight on that. Trust me there. You're like, well, would you say that really worked for you then? Because you said you gained it all back. And I was like, huh. It was the first time I felt so silly, that I had convinced myself that Atkins was the way to go. I mean, obviously I was 10 years and I kept going back to it. No, this time it's going to work. Mm-hmm. But that was the first, yeah, I guess she's got a point. It hasn't really worked before technically. Mm. And I think that was because there's all the deprivation going on, but there was also things that Atkins was never going to solve for me, like emotional eating or all the psychological stuff that goes into your eating choices. So I would say to anyone, if you feel like there's any hint of maybe emotional things playing into your choices, or maybe some disordered mental games going into your choices, I think that's when it's time to just see a professional.
So I would just say you have probably tried some variation of every diet that exists at this point. Most of us have. And they don't get you anywhere. So I would say try this because you're going to actually enjoy life more and be healthier than you would be if you were dieting and doing the same old tracking or food rules or no gluten or whatever, obviously celiacs excluded.
Right. Yep. Celiacs, we get it. You're good.
Yep. You cannot eat gluten. That's fine.
I've heard it multiple times. The analogy of you in the airplane, they always tell you to put on your air mask first in the case of an emergency before you put on your child's or anyone else's, because if you're not helping yourself, you can't help other people. So I'm really trying to share that with my kids so that they don't get unrealistic expectations and they realize that they have to care for themselves too.